What is happening, everybody? I hope you can hear me. That sounds good, actually. So welcome back to another episode of Politics. Um, back for another one. Hopefully, you guys watched the governor in Ohio, at least, and listen to what he had to say. Hopefully, you guys know and understand this. This ain't no, I don't know, political joke. This ain't no political thing. This virus. Um, for those of you that don't know, Mike DeWine is a Republican. You know what I'm saying? And today he went, pretty much against what the president been saying. Uh, so whether you agree with it or not, I mean, I don't know what choice you really have, even if you don't agree with it. I don't know what choice you have, but to go along with it and then get through it, and then you don't never gotta wear a mask again. But until you do it, you know what I'm saying? Like he's not going to stop enforcing it, so why not just do it, get through it, and then go from there? This is how I look at it, whether you agree with it or not. So today on Politics, 30 minutes, real quick show. I want to talk about reparations. I named this solutions because on these episodes, try to come up with solutions to issues instead of just talking about problems. So today I want to talk about reparations. For those of you that might have missed it, yesterday evening, a city named Asheville, North Carolina, gave an official apology to its Black American, African American, however you want to say it, residents of the city. Issued them a legit official apology for slavery, and agreed to give them reparations, which is the first city, and I wouldn't even call it a major city. I didn't get the stats on how big that city was, but I wouldn't call it a major city. But the first city, um, that has officially declared that they will be giving their residents reparations. So, you know, progress, I guess. 2020 is full of surprises, good and bad. Tim said, "Mask will not help you. If you go to the store with a mask and pick up an item, get in your car, take your mask off, touch your face. Tell me how will mask help?" Um, you're not wrong. Um, it's all in the operation. If you, uh, you know, I don't know. It's semantics, and it's kind of dumb to argue it because for every counterpoint I would have for why you should wear a mask or what you can do to not have your items infected, then you can counter it. I wouldn't be disagreeing with you. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just but what I'm saying is you do it or you're going to mandate that you do it. Like either way, you're gonna have to do it, or we're gonna be shut down in the house. So if you just do it and get it out of the way, then you don't have to worry about it later, opposed to not doing it now and then have to do it later anyway. Like just do it and get it out of the way. That's all I'm saying. Whether you agree with it or not, like if you just do it and then don't have to worry about it, like you'll be better off. Everybody will be better off by then, whether you agree with it or not. Um, you know, so like I said, Tim, I understand your point. Um, a lot of people wipe off their groceries when they get home. I know I keep hand sanitizer in my front, saying in my car. So the first thing I do, even before getting in, if that was the case, then I could use hand sanitizer before even getting in the car and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a foolproof plan, Um, but all I'm saying is that if you're gonna have to do it anyway, then just do it and get it over with. You don't got to worry about it down, towards the end of the line. Um, Tim said, but do I think it would slow it down? Uh, I don't, I don't know. Like, I don't know if the mask helped it slow down the last time, um, or if it was the fact that nobody was outside, like everybody was at work or at home, and like it wasn't no going to the store. You couldn't go to like grocery stores and stuff. Like they were doing the curbside pickup only and delivery only, and there was no retail stores for you to go to. So I don't know if masks help specifically, or if just not being around each other permanently, not permanently, but I mean, like just not being around each other is the reason, or if it's, I don't know. I don't know. I would assume that it would have some benefit. I mean, otherwise, even before this, otherwise, if you sneezed and coughed and it had no effect, they wouldn't tell you to sneeze in your elbow or cover your mouth when you sneeze or anything. Like it got to do something. I'm not saying it's perfect, but clearly, even before this, when you were a little kid and they tell you when you cough to cover your mouth, when you sneeze to cover your mouth, like that has to work in some kind of a way. Otherwise they wouldn't have told you to do it before all this pandemic stuff. You know what I'm saying? So we got to do something. I'm not saying it's perfect, but you got to do something. Like it just has to. Um. So yeah. So I don't know. That's like I said. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I understand it. Saying in the governor's sense, and when we were doing stuff before, whether it was separation of like just being spaced out to the point where you had no person-to-person contact. That way, you didn't have nothing to worry about. I don't know exactly what it was that checked the box, but whatever it was, like something worked, and now that shit not working no more. So I don't know. We gotta do something. That's all I'm saying. So back to the reparation. Let me see. So part of the agreement is with that city is they're not giving direct money to that community, which is what I guess most people would think of when they hear reparations. What most people would think of when they uh, you know when they want reparations. That's what they would think of. But that this community is not getting that. But what they are getting, I guess specifically, is money set aside for Black home ownership, loans to help with like Black small businesses and entrepreneurship, um, and like just making it easier for them to buy property and home and land. Uh, just making it easier, I suppose. Um, so I guess my question to you guys that I wanted to ask early, and then I go through some more stats and stuff is what do you think to you? And clearly, slaves once free were supposed to get 40 acres and a mule. We all know that shit didn't happen, like not even close. Um, and I think even if I'm not mistaken, I was told that, or I, was doing my research, found out that they said like the equivalent today would be instead of 40 acres, it would be 10 acres. Like with the population of Black people increasing, it would be more like 10 acres and a mule, I suppose. Um, which I don't know about you guys, but I would take 10 acres right now. You know what I'm saying? But uh, I mean, who knows how that'll go? That'll be trillions of dollars to give everybody land. I don't know how much land is in the country, or who would take the land out in Montana, or like the middle of nowhere. But I don't know. That's the equivalent if they were to do it today. Would be more like 10 acres in a mule, um, which some people be fine with. I would be fine with. So my question to you guys, I wanted to ask early, and then we can kind of elaborate if you guys got ideas. But like, what in this year in 2020 or this century, like, what would reparations look for you? Like, or how, I'm sorry, how would they look to you? Like, would it be like individual payments to people? Would it be like a fund set aside for, um, like black only things, and you have like a panel or something where they would approve or deny based off of, is the person qualified, or did they go to school, or do they have not even that education, because you don't want to discriminate, but like, do you have a plan? Like, do you have an actual plan on how you want to go about your business? Um, just curious, like, what do it look like to you guys? Is it like just making home ownership and entrepreneurship easier? Um, like I said, I don't know land wise how much in the country will be able to be given or turned over to black people or whatever. So I don't know. I'm just curious of what it looks like to you guys. Erica said that's a good idea, though. I think she's referring to the that city making it easier for reparations. Making it easier for black home ownership, black land ownership, and black entrepreneur and education. They have some other stuff listed, but I don't feel like that's a black thing. I feel like it's a city thing. I don't know how like the percentage of black people in this community, but there was stuff like education and like police sensitivity and all of that stuff. And I don't feel like that's a black thing. I feel like that's just a normal community thing that everybody should be doing, is trying to get along to people, trying to educate the people. So I didn't include that on this list, but the ownership, home ownership, property ownership, and entrepreneurship was something that I definitely thought was interesting. Let me see. Tim said, "I think it's awesome, but I'm not black, so I may be out of line just asking." Uh, Asking what, Tim? What's your question? Go ahead and ask your question, man. Nobody discriminating, or what I'm saying. We are good people here for sure. Um, yeah, definitely let us know what your question is. So I just want to give y'all some stats, since while you guys, I guess, thinking or suggesting or going through what your suggestion would be. Um, so you got to think that the money would be different, but so most recently, I suppose, would be, and I don't know if this counts as reparations, but some kind of out in Oklahoma. I didn't do any research on this. I want to say Oklahoma. It turned over like half of the state to like Native Americans. You know what I'm saying? Saying that is their property, that is their own property. So I don't know what that means. I don't know how that's going to look like when things finally shake down. It was just a court ruling, and so I don't know. So that's like the most recent form. That was a couple of days ago, not even a week ago, I don't think. Um, but prior to that, in 1988, so definitely, we was all like around. Most of us was around. 1988, they gave in Japanese internment camps during World War II. They gave all of those people 200 grand, like 200 grand a person. And uh, it was so I'm sorry, it was 80,000 people that they gave 20 grand to, like, per person, um, or family, if I'm not mistaken, in 1988. So the equivalent of that would be given every family, $43,000, like 43 and a half, for 3 years, 3 years of being in a internment camp. And I'm not knocking that. I'm not saying it was nothing or any of that, but that's 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Uh, in relation, you got stuff like the Holocaust in Germany. Like, Germans paid billions of dollars to people that was involved, like families that was involved in the Holocaust and Israel. Billions of dollars. So you think that happened? I'm not sure when that happened, but I know, like I said, 1980, Like, the World War II was in like the 40s, and it took them to 1988 for them to pay reparations to the Japanese internment camps for 3 years of being in internment camps. And slavery was 250 years. 250 years, man. 90 years of Jim Crow. Like 60 years of separate but equal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're talking about 3 years and they was able to get a payout. You know what I'm saying? We're going over, 400 years of discrimination. So let me see. So in the comments, Tim said, he said, why reparations? He said it's hard for us all. And Ashley, thanks for joining. Um, so Tim, so this is not about today. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about what's going on today or what's tough for everybody today. Like, this is for the past. This is for um, like past opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's righting a wrong, if you would. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to right the wrong of like enslaving a people. You know what I'm saying? But it it's the closest thing we can get to of righting a wrong. That's the basic way I can put it, I suppose. Erica said reparations is payment for slavery. See, I think that doesn't go far enough, Erica. So I think it's payment for slavery for sure, and not only payment for slavery, but the fact that they said what they said was that each freed family would get 40 acres and a mule, and it never happened. Like, this is what they said. Like, this is not like slaves demanded 40 acres and a mule. Like, this is what they told us we were going to get. So, but not only for slavery, for like I said, the 90 years of Jim Crow. You know what I'm saying? For the 60 years of separate but equal, where no matter what we like, I don't know why black people are so hated. Like, I don't understand it. I don't know what we did. I don't know what we did for Ronald Reagan, who was the president in 1988. You guys know how I feel about him and what he has done to the black community. But Japanese people, rightfully so, receive money for being locked in camps for 3 years. Like 3 years, man. Like, I don't know what what black people did that was so bad that like people just hate them. That the government, I don't want to say people, that the government specifically just hate black people. Like, I don't even understand it. So Erica, I think you're absolutely right. I just don't think that goes far enough. Um, like I said, 400 years of being told that you less than a person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. So it's for, like I said, what they promised. It's for man, the abuse, the mental abuse, um, and like that's just three parts of it, like slavery, Jim Crow, separate but equal, like but then not counting the war on drug stuff and stuff that just keeps trickling on like day in and day out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I don't know, this is more on top of more, and that's what reparations is for to me. That's what it's for to me. It's not about today. Yeah, there are some black people who are richer than some white people, or that's in a better situation, but we're not. That's not what we're arguing for. We're arguing that the fact that your ancestors did get a head start, did get a 400-year head start, that they did, have the ability to own land and to grow wealth and to make the connection that we are just now starting to achieve. That's what reparations is for. Like, it's not just for one thing or just looking at today. Like, man, I'm broke too. We're looking at a whole systematic, a whole system that's all built around like keeping black people in a certain place. These statues and monuments that's built to remind black people, like, yeah, y'all free and slavery is over. You know what I'm saying? But in the Jim Crow era, like, don't forget who you got to look up to. Don't forget the name of these schools that you got to go to, which were people that you were that your family was enslaved against. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't forget. Like, stay in your place. Don't forget. We're gonna give you this, but don't forget. Like, time after time, and that's what reparations is for. Erica said, "Our ancestors worked this land and built this country. Their children's children shouldn't be on the bottom of the totem pole." Um, yes, I mean it's really as simple as that. Um, and of course, you're gonna have people, you know, that squandered away their opportunity. White people, you know, that was in a good place and now they squandered the opportunity. But to never even have the opportunity to make something of yourself, to pick yourself up by your bootstraps, or you know whatever the saying is that you know the government try to tell black people all the time, you know, to pick yourself up by your bootstraps. Well, shit, give me some boots then. Like, give me the opportunity to have boots, and then I will pick myself up. But you keeping me from having boots, how the fuck how you expect me to pick myself up? So that's why reparations. I agree with you 100%, Eric. There's no reason why you know the people that built this country shouldn't be on the totem. Should not be higher up on the totem pole for sure. Sorry. So I'm interested in knowing what you guys think, or you know what you guys feel like reparations would look like to you. Um, I kind of clicked around a little just to see other media members or black leaders or whatever to see kind of what reparations would look like to them. Um, a lot of people were saying like funds, kind of what I said in the opening was like a pretty much trust fund set up for um, black families. I don't know how you would divvy, you know, how far down in the lineage, but trust funds kind of set up where you can, you know, kind of eat off of the interest that trust fund gains, um, and then you can, like, so you can pull from it, but then, like, I guess you get your entire sum when you have a plan of what you want to do with the money. So whether it's buy land or start a business or buy a building or something like that. Like a lot of people, it was like a group. I can't remember the name of the group. They were saying that you know they looked for stuff. Or I'm sorry, they looked at like a trust fund type thing where you can pull from the interest of it, and then like I said, you get your full sum or whatever once you come up with your plan or whatever it is that you want to buy or purchase or use the money for. Um, and I don't think that's a bad idea. I just, you know, I don't. Some people might not be interested in being landowners, um, so I don't know. I don't know how you would discern if somebody said I want to make an app opposed to own land. You know what I'm saying? Or I want to, you know, I want to buy a building for a barbershop or something. Like, I don't know how they'll say, you know, no, you can't do that until you go to school and learn how to run a business. Which you know, I don't think it would be a bad idea, but I don't know. I think you'll run into some hiccups as far as like, well, it's my money and I want to do what I want to do and all that stuff. Um, you know, and I think, but I kind of like the idea of having a pool of money and letting people pull from it that do have the education or do have the knowledge, and you know, make it so that they are able to go to school to get that knowledge. make it that you can pull from the money so you can go to school or training or whatever to find out how to run a business properly. Um, that's the only thing I can kind of see that makes sense, because sending people money directly, like, how do you split it up? You know what I'm saying? Like do I get more money than my sister because I'm more black than she is, or you know what I'm saying? I mean like darker. I mean like both my parents is black and one of her parents is black. So like, do I get more money because of that? Like, I don't know how you make up that, how you break it up like that. So um, I don't know. I don't know, but I'm interested to see any ideas that you guys got. Put in the comments now. Put in the comments later. Whenever you watch this, I'm just always interested in what you guys think about it. Because it has to be a number of ways, a number of different opportunities that we could do with $1 trillion. I've seen I've seen the numbers anywhere between $4 to $12 trillion in reparations. Um, I don't see it. I don't know how that's going to happen when you know the coronavirus thing. In order to give every American that make under like 95,000 a year, um, like it's like a $2 trillion bill just to give everybody money. So you think about just black people, you think we're gonna get $14 trillion? I don't see it at all. But that's just me. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I would love to get some money for the work and labor that my ancestors have done, and be able to do something positive with it. Saying put it back into the neighborhood or the city, or start my own thing and just do more for more people. I'd definitely be down with that. But you know, getting to that point though, like getting to the actual reparations part, um, I'm not exactly sure how that would work out. Um, so yeah, so that's my 30 minutes, man. I want to thank y'all for joining me as always. Uh, like I said, even if you didn't watch this live, feel free to put your comments in the comments, and then I'll check them for sure, and I'll respond if needed. No problem. Um, let me see. So Nathan said, one second. Nathan said, coming in late, but I'd like to see more of an international reinvestment in undeserved communities. How do you split that up, though? How do you, Nathan, in your opinion, like how do you say that, let's say, East Cleveland, Ohio deserves more money than, um, Compton, California, or um, than Detroit, or I'm sorry, Flint. Let's say Flint. How do you say that East Cleveland, Ohio, deserve more money than Flint, Michigan? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you discern that? Like, do you do it by population? Do you do it by age of the city? Like, what's your like? How do you think you break that up, though? That's my only thing is I don't know how you split it to where black people aren't, or infighting, saying, "Well, wait a minute, I'm in Cleveland, and I feel like we should do this because we used to be this, and this." And then how do you have like a city in the South saying like, "Well, no, like we actually had slaves here, and we deserve this because slavery actually took place here." Like, how do you break it up? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how you do it, but I just don't. What I don't want, I guess, in the end, is a bunch of infighting, like a bunch of he said, she said, and now we all can't get along and agree what to do with the money. Um, but I don't think it's a bad idea. I just don't know how you would break it up. Nathan said, I think it should be determined by poverty level and those and other social discernments. Um, okay, all right. I, I can be down with that. I can be down with that for sure. But like, I don't know. I don't know because there has to be, and I'm just making this up off the top of my head, and I don't want to offend nobody or whatever, but I got to be like a poor trailer park town in Tennessee or something that is mostly white or whatever, like mostly uneducated white people or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like so because they're living in trailers and stuff, and that the poverty level might be low. Do they benefit from that also? Like, so would that be like a community rescue? Like, I don't think that would be like necessarily like direct black reparations. I don't know. Like, I'm really just playing devil's advocate just because I just don't know how the system will work. I'm not knocking down your ideas. Um, but Nathan said rate of crime, rate of poverty, rate of other factors. I agree with that. I mean, every other year they got a list about how Cleveland is the most dangerous or the most this or the most depressing and most stressful and all this stuff. So I'm sure you can put a list together and find out what are the most poverty stricken communities based off of a lot of factors. But like I said, what do you do uh, if it's like it's a poor white neighborhood just so happen? Nathan said a rising tide lifts all boats, so poor whites with benefits and other minorities in these factors disproportionately affect minorities anyway. I agree. I agree with you, Nathan. I do think that that's just called like that's just what the country should do. Then you have a area that's poorer, that's more um, that's deeper into poverty than like a richer area, then yes, you should be funneling resources into that area to bring those people up anyway, like regardless of um, regardless of race or reparations or any of that stuff. That's just what you should do as a country. Like, oh, I got a poor area here. I have an abundance of homeless people here. I should do something about that. Um, so Nathan, you definitely right about that. A rising tide does raise all boats, um, but that's what the country's supposed to do anyway. So we're talking specifically reparations. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just playing devil's advocate. Nathan goes on to say there could be incentives for minorities in other areas such as banking, higher education, loans, housing, etc. I think the government needs to be more international about how dollars are spent, or I'm sorry, intentional about how dollars are spent. More social programs in communities like our parents had. I agree with you wholeheartedly, man. Wholeheartedly. I think one of the biggest issues about poverty and about like the system that we have now is the fact that after school programs are stuff that has to be paid, and parents may or may not have the money to pay for their kids to play football or do after school stuff. Therefore, the kid can't do it. Therefore, the kid is more likely to get into street stuff or like just something to do. Because when kids are bored, like trouble is had. That's just is what it is. So if you actually put money into these communities, into these schools, where after school programs and boys and girls clubs and latchkey kid clubs, like all this stuff where like kids can actually have activities to do, might change the mental, or kids that want to go to after school tutoring program or want to go like, to ROTC or whatever, but don't got the resources or don't got the family structure at home to allow them to do so. Um, you could be tainting their minds or their interests or what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think it's a lot to it. Um, we're definitely not going to solve it in 30 minutes. Um, but it always just gives you something to think about, and hopefully something comes down the pike where the country will be helped, like the poorer parts of the country will be helped out. Um, whether that involves reparations directly for African Americans, blacks, or not. Like that's something that the country should be doing for sure. And I agree wholeheartedly with Nathan's assessment. But yeah, so that's my 30 minutes. I'm gonna get out of here. Feel free to continue the discussion. Like I said, I will comment back even after this. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for the conversation. Always, Nathan. I don't think I've seen you pop up in here before, here or on our Sunday show, but thanks for joining. Thanks for the conversation for sure. Erica, um, Angel, I saw you pop in here. Ashley, our top fans. Tim, thanks for joining as always, man. This is never personal. We're just having a discussion. So feel free to ask your questions anytime. Other than that, I'm going to get out of y'all hair, but looking forward to seeing you guys Sunday at 5 o'clock for our normal show. And looking forward to talking to you guys some more on here, politics, Wednesday, 6:30, 6:30 to 7. So I'm definitely down with that. Nathan said, don't forget land grants. I think that's the biggest thing. I had said it a little bit earlier in regards to 40 acres and a mule. They said now it would be more like 10 acres and a mule. And I said, definitely right now, I'll take 10 acres for sure. But yeah, so I'm out of here. You guys have a good rest of your day. Be safe out there. Salute to the city as always. And I'm out.